So bringing this to a conclusion, one of the values that these conversations that I'd love people to get out of is a next generation. So when you've got 5, 15, 20, 25 years of ministry under your belt, there are a few things that you just want to be able to etch in stone for the next generation, or in this particular environment, post on their Facebook wall. Yeah. And so if that was, just some things that you wanted to say to the next generation, what would they be?
Yeah, my big one returns to the point. I want people to get to the point where the love of God compels them, where there is no other motivation. And so I remember as a young man, my motivation for ministry was, I'll get to travel the world, I'll get to go to other countries, I'll get to stand in front of lots of people and be famous. And then having done that, and having become familiar with countless airports and countless conference centres and everything except the country, I came to the conclusion that actually that was not the motivation for ministry. And I had to keep that whole thing pure. My motivation is the love of God compels me. So if I stand in front of a crowd of people and that's my motivation, then I will communicate Jesus. If there's anything else in my spirit, I'll communicate something which is not effective and will not help these people. So I have to keep refreshing myself with, is this about the love of God? Or has something of my ego got in the way here? And that's a constant battle. Yeah. Everyone wants to be popular.
Sort of like you're always trimming the sails, isn't it? You're just checking that you're
Absolutely.
on track here and that you're
Absolutely.
Headed in that right direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what else?
You have to pull... I have a key person who I would refer to as my spiritual director. He was the person who supervised my PhD in child evangelism. And I've kept him on board. He lives about 100 miles away, so it's quite a trek. But I go and see him once every 10 weeks, and I sit with him, and he tells me the things that nobody else will tell me. The difficulty with being the leader is people do want to please you. So if flaws have crept into your character, you need to be able to sit down with somebody and say, hey, I'm walking through this, and he needs to be able to say, or she needs to be able to say, actually, that doesn't sound as if you're honouring Jesus in that response. So find a key person who will walk with you on that journey. Doesn't need to be another church leader. Doesn't need to be anybody's involved in church leadership at all. But it needs to be somebody who's deeply connected to Jesus and is able to speak into your life. And we are hard to speak into. People are sometimes intimidated by leadership. Yeah. You need to find somebody who doesn't worship us, who is very quick to say, actually, that's nonsense.
Knows everything about you and loves you anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe just one more as we conclude.
I don't know if I've got one more. I am probably coming to the... I think the final one would be I always battle with that work-life balance thing. I think we all battle with that. And I've concluded that actually I can't quite do it in the way that people say I should do it, where you take that specific day at this specific time and that's the family day. And so I have to work seasonally. And I know that there are periods in ministry which are intense. And I know at that point my entire focus is on what I'm doing. But I have to therefore set aside a season where I connect with my family. I make sure that all that's in place. So I can't do the Sabbath thing, because one day to actually unpack everything which is flying through my head just doesn't work. Yeah. So I take the day off once a week, but my wife knows on that day off it's probably 3 or 4 hours before I'm actually even listening to what she's saying to me. So lunch might be an ideal thing to do with her, but actually being able to listen to her during lunch would probably help a little. So it's seasonal. And so you build into your year those points which are going to be intense. So we're walking into that now. We're walking into a Lenten season. We're walking into Easter. These things are high profile times and great evangelistic opportunities. But when we'll come out the other side of that, and it's a little calmer. Certainly in England, we walk towards the sun. That one day in August, we walk towards the sun at that point, and that's a season for reflection. It's a season where we can build ourselves back up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then we move into September and we push towards Christmas.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. We the similarities between what you're saying and some of the conversations we're having around here. We talk about holding priorities in tension, not ordering them.
Indeed.
If I put a whole list of things, pretty much anything in below 3 just doesn't get my attention.
Right.
But I can focus on a bunch of things while I'm here, being honouring to my role as a leader of a church.
Yes.
But when I go home, I'm a father,
Right.
and I'm a husband.
Yes.
And so having those priorities set, and when I'm on holidays, I want to be on holidays.
On holidays,
playing
absolutely.
golf and doing all those things.
Absolutely.
Mark Rivers, I want to say thank you so much for joining us, and
You're welcome.
and really appreciate you being part of these leadership conversations. Hope you enjoyed it, and it's just been great to have you part of this conversation. See you next time on Leadership Conversations.